Is Fort Worth, Texas a dying city? Well, that question was asked all week long by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram in a series of front-page stories last week. The Star-Telegram, citing mid-decade census figures, reports that Fort Worth had lost 40,000 people from 1970 to 1975. To partly account for the drop in population, the series describes how housing has become more expensive and less plentiful within the city. The reason, the paper quoted one well-known developer as stating, was that starting a housing development in Fort Worth begs for the kiss of bureaucratic entanglement. Another developer was quoted as saying that the attitude of the city staff is that a builder-developer is a crook out to take the city. So, as a result, the paper says, single-family building permits have dropped dramatically since 1970 as developers have fled to the suburbs. With that drop in the single-family housing market, the paper notes, goes a similar drop in population. As the Star-Telegram declares in this headline, city officials were stunned, but not necessarily by the alleged population decline. What shocked them, it seems, was the Star-Telegram itself. Various city officials have called the series inaccurate, deceptive, and shallow. They say that census reports are notoriously off the mark, not taking into account many factors, which we will explore a little later during the next 30 minutes. City officials also point to the dramatic increase in housing starts during the early part of this year, housing starts which have increased threefold over this time last year. Then there is non-residential construction. Since 1969, city officials say, permits for office buildings, like the Tandy Center, have been on a steady and healthy increase. Except for a slight drop in 1972, non-residential construction within the city limits has consistently climbed the graphs of city growth charts. For those reasons, then, most city officials with whom we've spoken take exception with the Star-Telegram. Not only are the Census Bureau's figures misleading, they say, but residential and non-residential construction is booming.